Hi, thank you for coming to my presentation. My name is David Delaney. I am a doctoral student at Purdue University in the American Studies Department. I co-wrote this presentation alongside Dr. Ashley Thutau King Dom, who is part of the Department of Health, Ethics, and Society of Faculty Health Medicine and Life Science at Massachusetts University. Our research topic for this presentation is the popular TikTok trend feta baked pasta. Many of y'all remember this trend. This trend became popular during 2020, 2021 on TikTok during the height of the pandemic. While this presentation will look at the popular TikTok trend feta baked pasta, this favorite research and methodology can be applied to other digital food trends. We view feta baked pasta as a case study of how trends, which are created for both entertainment and capitalistic purposes, create pressures that challenge different forms of social cultural legacies. In this case, we'll be looking at the cultural legacies and imaginaries of Mediterranean and Italianness. Our argument is that we propose these trends can be viewed as simulacra and the apps are simulations. Simulacra should be viewed as political artifacts. The communities and producers we're analyzing all claim to be authorities and experts who get to designate what is Italian and Mediterranean. The recipes demonstrate points of intervention where identities are contested within different food races and food cultures. In the digital spaces such as TikTok, embedded within these videos are imaginaries of Italy, the Mediterranean, and Italianness. For our presentation, we compiled a data map of TikToks whose creators are cooking and demonstrating feta baked pasta recipes to viewers. We compiled a data map based on multiple parameters for each video. We noted the number of views, ingredients and ratios, variances in the recipe, the number of views and likes, and hashtags used. We currently have 15 pieces of data mapped and plan on expanding exponentially. This is an ongoing project that is going to constantly keep growing. How do we view these viral videos? Recipe trends such as feta baked pasta are viewed as viruses and political artifacts according to Weiner. These artifacts are markers for digital spaces and digital food communities that they are housed in. Each has its own rules, cultures, and governance. People using and tinkering the recipes can be considered part of the performance of digital food citizenship. So they are doing the formation and negotiation. These digital food communities and spaces act as avenues for different types of power. One in particular is colonialism. Here is an example of a viral TikTok video that is discussing feta baked pasta. This video was released January 28, 2021 by TikTok influencer Feel Good Foodie. At the time of writing, this video has amassed over 1.6 million likes and 18.3 million views.
Because of this recipe, the grocery stores in Finland ran out of feta cheese. Here's how to make it. Add tomatoes, olive oil, salt, and pepper to a baking dish. Then add a block of feta cheese right in the middle. Bake at 400 for 35 minutes. When it comes out, add some fresh garlic, fresh basil, and give it all a good mix. Then add some of that cooked pasta right on top and give everything a good mix once again. And then it's time for the taste test. So good.
This video is just one of a plethora that can be found if a individual just types baked feta pasta in the search option pane of TikTok. You will notice a lot of the similarities. One, it always shows somebody with a bubbly personality cooking. It shows an individual plating techniques. It shows them creating the dish, preparing the dish, and finishing the dish. And when we do see variations, we also will see why was there a variation included, such as an individual who used honey in theirs because they said honey added a little bit of extra sweetness to the dish.
Because of this recipe, the grocery store
Applying Baudrillard's simulacra and simulation. In the context of this video, we view it as a simulacrum, and the digital platform TikTok itself as a simulation. The dish was distributed to the masses by an influencer who uses culture and cultural products as a form of currency and upward mobility. TikTok was the mechanism that distributed the recipe to the world. When we are looking at food as a form of currency and upward mobility, we are thinking of how the number of views, the number of comments, the amount of engagement attracts other revenues of growth and money, to frankly, because and these people can gain sponsorships, contract, TV show deals, a whole plethora of things based on the amount of engagement they get from videos. And of course, that does equal upward mobility. And we view that this dish puts pressure on the Mediterranean and Italian cultural products because nowhere in the video does the author discuss how and why this dish became part of popular cultural lexicons. Also, this looking carefully at the crafted ingredient list, we argued that the ingredients used and shown are nonverbal cultural identifiers that are opportunistically linked to the imagined Italianness, such as the use of certain some of the videos you see variances in the pasta. So the uses of pasta, the uses of olive oil, basil, tomato, all of those are part of even the feta, a part of this creation of an imagined Italian identity. We must look at Italian feta baked pasta as a political artifact. UNESCO classifies Italian food as an intangible cultural heritage, and Brulotti and Di Giovanni state food, its cultivation, preparation, and communal consumption can be a form of intangible cultural heritage. And with dishes like feta baked pasta, we see a pressure that challenges these cultural heritages. We see that it creates this falseness that it tries to insert itself, trying to get rid of or even supplementing some of these intangibleness. Applying the works of Borghini, we should be looking at the recipes shown as social entities whose identities depend on an identification process. So for feta baked pasta to have worked was that it had to be shown as Italian. It had to have this identifying marker to it. And using the term media virus brought to our attention by the works of Douglas Rushkoff, we view this video as a classic example of his work because we see the video perpetuating digital myths of a Mediterranean and Italian cuisine and cultural products by using cultural ambiguity to force the audience to index feta baked pasta into specific and carefully guided cultural groups. So, looking at the video, we see there is no direct identifying marker created by these creators and influencers. Instead, we're seeing ambiguity. We're seeing the ingredients, the preparations, the techniques as a almost like a guiding force. It's kind of like, hey, come this direction because this is what we want to be shown. This is what we want you to think this dish can be indexed as. Remember, the recipes are as part of community thinking and community dynamics. We look at these videos and ingredients used affixing an imaginary view as to how they engage and perceive Mediterranean cuisines and flavors. We should look at the recipes within these digital platforms as a definition and part of a community-wide negotiation tool based on a shared topic. And following our arguments in the last slide, one can argue that the recipe used in variances is part of the performance of citizenship within digital food communities. What we are meaning is that we should be looking at these recipes as part of the definition process. We're looking at how these digital food communities will and are defining what they perceive as Italian food. What they perceive can be Mediterranean flavors and cuisines. And following the same framework, this also means how's their citizenship in digital food communities? Where's the citizenship lines? Where's the defining lines? And also, how does this affect our physical world? Because when you're crossing the digital world into the physical world through the recreation process, how does that engage and perceive Italian and Mediterranean cuisines and flavors in real time when the dishes are recreated, reproduced, redistributed to others? And in conclusion, we are viewing that popular food trends such as feta baked pasta as a simulacrum of Italian and Mediterranean identities and tastes. The simulation process is functioning through sharing and distribution processes as seen in social media platforms. We cannot definitively pinpoint the lasting effects of processes like these because we are in the infancy of its effects. The recipes themselves need to be viewed as artifacts that reflect group thinking and community dynamics within digital food spaces. The key thing for us is this is like the beginning effect of these viral food trends affecting culture. This isn't us looking at a dish that was created 20, 30, 40 years ago. We're looking at a dish that became popular less than 3 years ago. We're looking at these rise of social media platforms, the rise of spaces like TikTok, Instagram, even Snapchat, where they are reflecting group thinking, ideologies, and community dynamics. Of course, within digital food spaces, but also spaces in general. And that the recipes themselves need to be viewed as artifacts. For us, this is exciting because we're literally looking at everything happening in real time. And the simulation, we're seeing the simulation process happening through these digital networks, these digital platforms. And when we see trends like feta baked pasta, we're looking at this, of course, this is a simulation because this dish was created for entertainment and capitalistic gains. But how does it affect our understanding of Italian and Mediterranean identities and taste? That's something that we are really interested in seeing how this is going to affect throughout the next 5, 10, 15 years. That's why we were mentioning in our methodology section that this is an ongoing list because we want to see how is this going to keep growing. How will this change over time? And with that, I want to say thank you for watching this presentation. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and we are both reachable through our Twitter. Have a great day.